Well, hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Island Church Weekly Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Lombardi, joined as always by Dr. Will McRaney. Pastor Will, how you doing today?
I'm good, Matt. It's a good week in paradise down here in Central Florida, and some beautiful weather. I think this is the reason many people come is for days like we've been having. So,
Absolutely, man. It is that time of year where it's prime Florida weather. That's for sure. Well, speaking of people being around a lot, I know Sunday, lots of folks showing back up again, snowbirds, all that kind of stuff. So, how was Sunday at Island Church?
it was another good service. We had some guests, some returning guests, multiple returning guests, and we're just getting a lot of good positive feedback on what we're doing, from the music, things, the messages, just the overall climate in our church.
Yeah.
I think it's just really healthy, and so it's a good time to be part of our church, and as we look to the future with our building. But I've been in this series on life-giving relationships, and this has been a really good thing for us, and it's part of a foundation of our church. It's kind of around the first four of the seven heart attitudes that we have that we talk about. And so I couched it a little bit differently, but that's kind of what it is. And so this past week was a lot of fun. I brought men down front. If people weren't there, if they didn't go back, and they can go back and watch it. I brought 5 men down front in both different services, the 8:45 and the 10 o'clock service. And I set my own offensive lineup. And so, and I talked about the importance of the left tackle, and I went through the positions, and I said, in the NFL, the guy on the left tackle makes 78% more than all these men to your right. Of course, you had a couple of them whining while I was telling the story, but I said, we'll double all your pays. But it's the importance, because that left tackle guards the blind side of the quarterback.
Yeah.
And I was just talking about the importance, and I'm going to finish up this week in that particular topic area, and that is that we all have blind sides. We need someone to guard our blind side, things that we don't see about ourselves, and or dangers, or just anything from God's perspective that we're missing. And then we also need to play that role for other people, and because we just need each other. I mean, and so this is a very important part of what we do, is to receive and to give correction, or at least make inquiry as to how we're doing, and that's how we can keep from making more mistakes than we actually do. We're not going to live out the perfect Christian life, but if we have others helping us when we take a sidestep, they can help get us back on the path, and we can help them as well. And so this week we're going to talk about how to do it. I talked the importance of it this past week from a biblical perspective. This week I'm going to talk about some of the things that should reflect us if we're receiving it or we're giving it. And so it was another good Sunday. I mean, good spirit, people engaged, singing, engaging before and after the service, and there's a good number of things going on.
Awesome. Well, Pastor Will, how, with Easter coming up, there's a million different opportunities for people to get involved. What are some of the ways that people can really lean in this Easter season to everything that's going on at Island Church?
Well, we're trying to have a table set up after the services each of the last several weeks, where people can actually get connected to either a service area, either for the Easter egg hunt the Saturday before, or the sunrise service. That's a way they can do that. They can also get connected to a life group. There's several life groups going on right now, and this just makes church life so much more meaningful. And it's just not an individual sport, following Christ, and we just need each other. And so they can do that. But there's a couple of other opportunities for people, even that they don't have to register for anything else. But on March 17th, after our service that morning, we're going to stuff about 3,500 eggs. I believe we have 2,000 eggs that are already stuffed to get ready for the Easter egg hunt. Yeah. So we're going to stuff about 3,500 more. We can actually do it pretty short order with some people. It'll be a fun time. It's a way to get to know some people, so people can get connected in. On March 17th, they can watch this in the Beacon and listen to announcements. That's not very long, just a couple of weeks away. And then on March 24th, we're going to have our almost not a rehearsal, but we're going to have our momentum. We're trying to set up some type of cookout. That'll always be fun. Do a hamburger, a sausage dog, or do something, and then have our time together and celebrate what God's doing in our church as we look forward to the coming Easter. And is that we have a prayer emphasis for the people in our community. You're preparing materials to get out to them, to get the word out. Our people are inviting people, and we want the Spirit of God to move, and we want to be ready, and we want to ask God to move in people's lives. And so that's the way they can get involved. they can sign up to get involved more formally, or they can just come to Momentum, or they can just come to the March 17th, the Easter egg hunt. That's a couple of different ways that people can get involved.
Awesome. Well, Pastor Will, what's a way that folks can be praying for our church this week?
Well, we think about the events, all the things around the Easter thing, and we can think about just pulling off an event, but the reality is we're impacting eternity. We're partnering with God. Unless God draws a man's or woman's heart to himself, they can't come unless they surrender their heart to him. God doesn't force himself. He's a loving God on us. And so we want to pray for that receptivity in the midst of our doing our work towards it. We want to pray that God's Spirit would move in people. And then, just great life groups going on. I've just been amazed as I've sat in and seen our leading one, and I'm participating in another one, and just watching how God is working in the lives of our people, and the people are being responsive. I'm just really encouraged about that. But they can continue to pray that people continue to grow, and they continue to come and engage with us in the life of our church. And we really see the island as our mission field. Also, we've got an upcoming missions offering. For the first time, I know, since I've been involved with the church, we're going to do an annual Easter missions offering. And as you know, we're working on the final wording of that, but that's going to come up, and we want to, everything that we take up towards this in March, towards that, given towards missions, will be used by our missions committee to touch all manner of things, from our prison ministry. We've got a grief share. We've got we're involved in the crisis pregnancy center, all kinds of things. So anyway, just pray for us as we move towards that Easter offering, missions offering as well. So that's several different things. That's more than one.
Yeah, but that's okay. There's lots of ways they can be praying for the church, and lots of ways to get plugged in this time of year. Pastor Will, thank you so much for joining us today. You're a little under the weather. Get you feeling better. Get some rest today if you can. And we'll see everyone on Sunday, and see you back here next week.